afternoon there, peeps, or morning. Well, whatever time it is, wherever you are, just remember it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Now we're on to our next video on Jennifer Kirk's 1000 top vinyl LPs. Well, 1000 greatest LPs, in my opinion anyway, from the wall behind me. And we're up to numbers 10, 11 and 12. I'm going to have to get myself a little spreadsheet just to keep track of these as we go through. Well, there's still quite a lot to go. But we've got 3 more in the pile today, and well, the first one, we're going back on the rewind to early 90s dance, and I thought I'd pick out a Shamen album, and we've got here Different Drum. Now, some of you may be familiar with their album Boss Drum. This is the remix version of it, released at much the same time. It does have a few extra tracks on, as well as a lot of different mixes of the tracks that were on Boss Drum. The artwork, I'll just take this out of its sleeve so we can get a good look of this. The artwork, they proudly proclaimed that the sleeve artwork, let's have a look. Yes, 3D drum pixelated by the Amiga man, Phil Wolstenholme. This is back in the days when Amigas were the cutting edge of video computers. Well, it's, I suppose the textures on there, they're all right for the time. This album is 1993, One Little Indian Records, but we've got some great remixes of some even greater Shamen tracks on here. My personal favourites, Ebenezer Good there, which was a track which gained some notoriety because it's about drugs and taking of drugs at nightclubs. But apparently it had made the Radio 1 playlist, and it took a number of weeks for the controller of Radio 1 to work out in his car whilst driving home that the song was about drugs. We've also got Forever People. Now this is a single that I do remember buying on 7-inch. It's quite peculiar for a 7-inch single because it played at 33 1/3 RPM instead of the more normal 45. And then we've got LSI, Love, Sex, Intelligence, and a few other more unusual tracks on here. Reiteration, Scientas, Fat Man, things like that. It's not a gatefold album, but it did come on 2 vinyl LPs. It's a great album. In my view, I prefer this to Boss Drum. That's not saying that Boss Drum is a bad album, it's just saying that this is a truly awesome early 90s dance music album, when dance music was first starting to emerge from the primeval swamp of the underground music scene and go slightly more mainstream. Now, from a second album, again, we're going for the 1990s dance music theme, and this is an album by Saint Etienne, and it's from 1996, and this is called Casino Classics. And again, this is a bit like the Space Brothers album that we reviewed right back at the beginning, in that it's got 3 discs in here, and they're done rather more like 12-inch singles, and there's not that many tracks on each. So we've got, yeah, we're looking at three tracks per side, with one side's got 4. And these are all remixes of Saint Etienne tracks done in a very dancey style. Some of these tracks actually you'd probably recognise from having been used in a lot of Hollywood films of the period, even if the album itself you may not be quite so familiar with. Saint Etienne, of course, are really famous for their big single, She's on the Phone. Which is what I've got that on promo somewhere, a CD single promo from my days working in local radio. But this is a great album. As you can see, it was reissued on the Simply Vinyl label. That in itself is really a hallmark of an album that is considered a great by a good many people in the vinyl collecting world. I picked up my copy of this back when Simply Vinyl first started, and I believe its catalogue number, if we see if we can find it on here. Normally Simply Vinyl Records, yes, here we are. It's Simply Vinyl number 16, which means that this was quite an early release in the Simply Vinyl reissue. Simply Vinyl, of course, was a label which got the rights to reissue a lot of classic albums on vinyl. Back in the days when vinyl was sliding on the record sales, and the record companies thought it didn't have long to go, so they licensed it out to this company from America that was quite keen on releasing these things on vinyl. Third album today, this is number 12 in our series. This is really bang up to date, a bit like the Cara Emerald one that we reviewed last time. This is Stereophonics and Graffiti on the Train. A lot of these tracks, certainly Graffiti on the Train, has been played a lot on the radio. Again, this is a gatefold, but like some of my other albums, I've left it in the cellophane, so I don't actually know what's in the gatefold inside there. But you only get one vinyl album in this. The gatefold really is just for show. And I heard Kelly from the Stereophonics being interviewed on the radio, and he said that this album was done very much to be almost like a soundtrack from a film that's not really been made. And certainly when you play it, it does play a bit like it could be illustrating a film. Rather like, say, the Snowman soundtrack kind of leads you through that film. Then so in the same way, this album leads you through this imaginary film. There's also an album called, I think it's Visions by Jakarta, which is the soundtrack to a film that never ever got made. And indeed, it was an imaginary soundtrack. Now that is an album that we will touch upon later in the series. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed these next 3 in my 1000 greatest vinyl LPs. Don't forget to like this video and share it, because, well, if you share this video, I get more people watching it. It's simple maths, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because then you'll be the first to know when the new videos are going on up. And don't forget to join us next time when we delve into this huge record collection behind me and dig out some more of those 1000 greatest vinyl LPs, in my opinion. Don't forget to leave some comments down there if you suggest really awesome albums and I have them. Well, I have them because I like them, and they will of course get reviewed in the list at some point. And you take very good care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.